Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. My name is Benji, and welcome back to a review. Now, this is for the Walking Dead Season 10 extended bonus episodes. This is the first of the 6 bonus episodes, and it is titled Home Sweet Home. Now, with the 6 bonus episodes, we are going to be focusing on certain characters and their respective stories. So the first one, obviously Home Sweet Home, is based on the character that we have waited for a return for so long, in being Maggie. Episode 18, Find Me, will be Daryl's episode. Episode 19, One More, is based on Father Gabriel and Aaron. Episode 20, Splinter, is based on the Eugene's group of friends and meeting a new mysterious group. Diverged is episode 21, and that is Carol's episode. And then obviously episode 22, Here's Negan, which is obviously a bit self-explanatory, which is Negan's episode where we finally get to meet Lucille. But today I'm just going to be talking about episode 17, Home Sweet Home. Now, I actually quite enjoyed this episode. Obviously, with it being Lauren Cohen's return to the series, and just seeing how so easily she fits back in with the cast members, especially Norman Reedus, as she spends most of the episode with him, as they are sort of the OGs of the show, basically, apart from Carol, who does appear for a couple scenes, but that's about it, because again, this episode does primarily focus on Maggie. But obviously she has been caught up to date with the whole Whisperer situation, and now knowing that that the war is finally over. And as she talks to Judith, and obviously learning about how Michonne has left to go find Rick, in a sense, that she explains that she tells RJ that they look at the stars, and that Michonne is looking at the stars as well, which is still connecting them together, which I thought was actually kind of sweet, because we know Michonne's gone to look for Rick, but we don't actually know how the whole group is going to react to know that she is going to find Rick. But obviously Maggie knows now, but obviously Maggie and Michonne haven't really reconciled since Michonne left the show earlier in the season. But obviously some people head off back towards Alexandria, and Maggie finally has her long-awaited, well, I wouldn't say happily, but she has a long return to seeing Negan again. Now, Negan can definitely tell that Maggie is most definitely still pissed about what happened earlier when he was introduced, obviously killing Glenn, and that being just probably the worst thing that could have happened. And now just seeing him outside again, free, and wearing the leather jacket that basically tormented her throughout Negan's time as the villain. And just to see him out and about when last she saw him was stuck in a jail cell pleading for his life, knowing that he was worse off dead, or living in that cell, than dead. But she doesn't say any words to him, because she, it's just gonna, she would, the expression she gives looks like she is actually going to kill him. And just knowing that Negan's gonna have to deal with all this is definitely what is sort of scaring him right now. But he has to just, he's accepted what he's done. They're gonna have to have a chat at some point about everything that's going on, which I think might happen in the Here's Negan episode, because that is primarily focused on Negan. But once again, Maggie does get caught up to speed, and obviously knowing that Hilltop has burnt down, and learns that Carol actually let Negan out of the cell to help fight against the Whisperers, and obviously saying that Negan was with the Whisperers the night the Hilltop burnt down, which she does see, and is sort of a bummer for her, because obviously the Hilltop is sort of her home away from Negan, because obviously she doesn't want to spend days or weeks at a time in the same community as Negan. That is something that she doesn't want, because if she stays in there too long and he's in there too long, they will clash heads, and she might actually kill him. But then again, who knows what the future holds for them. But actually, there is something I wanted to mention. This episode is actually the first ever episode of the show filmed digitally. Obviously, with the COVID-19 pandemic, it's sort of a bit difficult times at the minute, so they have to proceed with filming new TV shows and new episodes of shows to a certain degree, and obviously have to keep their social distance measures or however their filming regulations are. So, I mean, it's good to see that it's digital and it does sound a bit different, and I did catch that the second time I watched it through, because I watched this episode a couple of times just to make sure I got everything. But yeah, obviously Maggie came home. She does explain to Daryl that she left the communities because obviously Negan was taking too much time on her head, and she has actually been with Georgie, who is, if you guys remember from season 8, the one who gave Maggie the key to the future and helping them build sustainable technologies, so like the windmills that they use in Alexandria and different like forges, so they can make all these different technological advancements that a civilization has built over the last 2,000 years, even before the apocalypse. But then Daryl says like nothing is decided with Negan yet, but you can come home to Alexandria. Alexandria will always be your home, and she has to take her up on that offer. But there is also sort of a little side plot in this quest as well, with Daryl and Kelly as well as Maggie, because Daryl and Kelly are looking for Connie, and obviously we know that Connie is still alive, and so I guess they just want the confirmation, is she alive or dead? And they need to know because they haven't seen her since the cave, and obviously we've seen Magna, who got out the cave alive, but obviously they got her and Connie, got separated. So I guess that's like their sort of goal. So while they're making their way back, they still want to look for Kelly, even though the Whisperers have now been dealt with, so they need to find her to confirm whether she is dead or alive. But with Maggie, I feel like she can relate to Kelly a bit, because once Daryl mentions that Kelly is Connie's sister, Maggie can relate to that, because it does feel like the season 5 plot thread, where Maggie was still looking for Beth, and obviously Daryl finds out that they're in Grady Memorial, and everyone tells Maggie, and then she's so excited, and then obviously sadly Beth died. Beth sadly passed away just as Maggie got there, so I can see why Maggie does agree why they're looking for Connie. I keep getting Kelly and Connie messed up, but yeah, I mean, that's a good little thread, and it keeps in continuity with everything. But there is actually some characters that I have actually forgot to mention. There are 2 new characters that we need to meet. They are part of Maggie's group. There is Elijah, who is the masked man who saved Father Gabriel back in the 16th episode, or the original season finale before the additional episodes were announced, and a new guy in Cole. Now, I loved Elijah in the final episode because it was like the certain of mystery around who this man was and just how badass he was, defeating the Whisperers with the 2 weird like blades that he had. So, but then it turns out he is a normal dude like everyone else. He's a normal black man, and I don't mean that in a very racist way, but I feel like those guys can relate to Connie and Kelly, or Kelly mainly because Connie doesn't actually appear in this episode, but they get along. Their chemistry is actually quite good. I mean, I know he only takes his mask off for one scene just to show his face, but I mean, it's sort of like what Kelly and Connie mentioned in the season 10 premiere, saying that they have a superpower. So maybe Elijah, with his mask, when he has it on, he feels like he has the strength to continue, but then if he takes it off, he feels like he's really, like, he is scared. And maybe the mask is a sort of new identity to him. But, I mean, we actually meet a member of a new group in the Reapers. Now, this man has actually been following Maggie's group and has been picking them off one by one, because there were more notable characters that we didn't really know or really get to know, because they're literally introduced in one episode and then get killed off. But to know that this man was wearing a ghillie suit, of all things, shows that, okay, these men are experienced warriors, and these are fighters in these communities. Now, something I did find out that was actually quite interesting was that this man, the guy who plays the Reaper in the episode, is actually played a savior in season 8, I believe. Let me just have a quick look. The Reaper. Yeah. Turns out he is played by a guy called Mike Winnett, and he actually played a savior in season 7. And turns out, and someone pointed out to me a fan theory that actually turns out to be that the Reapers are actually attackers, or are actually the Reapers. So they could be saviors that sort of escaped when all-out war ended, and maybe they've come back for Maggie because they know she is the widow. So, but the only line this guy says in the entire episode is that Pope has marked Maggie. Now, what that says to me is there is someone called Pope, obviously. Like, he may be sort of a leader of the Reapers, and maybe he sort of put a bounty on Maggie's head. Now, that seems a bit interesting to me, because I've always liked the concept of bounty hunting in sort of apocalyptic worlds, because we've actually met a bounty hunter before in, I think his name, I can't remember his name, it was a bounty hunter in season 6 of Fear the Walking Dead, and he was tasked by Virginia to collect Morgan's head, because Virginia wanted to know if he was alive. Yes, it was Emil. So, yeah, Emil was tasked to finding Mr. Jones, but sadly paid the price. He died. So it's good to see that there's a sort of continuity. So, like, all around, people sort of took like a bounty hunting job, and it sort of does remind me of Red Dead Redemption a little bit, because obviously you do throughout the game you get like you can get bounties, or like a price on your head. So the Walking Dead to me does feel like a Walking Dead version of Red Dead Redemption, which basically sounds like Undead Nightmare. But yeah, I'm actually glad to see that. But obviously, towards the end of the episode, we actually get to meet Herschel Ree. Now, Herschel was someone, obviously, we were going to see at some point. And I'm glad to see that. I was honestly surprised, and I will be honest, I was so surprised to see that the actor who plays Herschel looks so much like Stephen Yeun, who played Glenn on the show. And I can honestly say they could not have picked a better casting for Herschel. I believe his name is Keen Michael Spiller. And he does, I mean, he only gets one line by saying, "Hey, Mum," but like, to know that he looks so much like Glenn in season 1 with the shirt, the sort of fleecy jacket thing, and even the hat. The hat is like iconic to Glenn's character, and it's just upsetting to see that Glenn is never going to see his child. And a little bit of dramatic irony is that Negan sees little Herschel and Maggie walk into Alexandria, and it just knows that there is going to be, I have sort of a theory on it, that maybe Herschel will be attacked by a Reaper, and Negan is going to save Herschel, and that's sort of going to be the thing that redeems himself in Maggie's eyes. So, yeah, who knows how that's going to turn out, but that's primarily the episode in a nutshell and how I really thought about it. But overall, I think this episode was decent. I wouldn't say it's the best. I would probably give it a 7 out of 10, if I had to be brutally honest. But I know I am going to be looking forward to the next episode, 1018, because it is primarily a Daryl episode, and it will be taking place during the time skip where Rick flew away in the helicopter, and obviously where we picked up 6 years later when we meet Magna's group. So that I'm really looking forward to. And we actually get a new character in Leah, who is played by Lynn Collins. And if you don't know who Lynn Collins is, she played Michelle Starfox in X-Men Origins Wolverine, or like Wolverine's love interest. I can't actually remember her name. I think it's like Mrs. Silver Fox. I'll have to rewatch the movie again, because that was actually, I know a lot of people give it a lot of shit, but I thought it was an alright movie. But that's all I have to say for now. Thank you so much for taking the time and watching this episode of The Walking Dead reviews. Leave a like if you really did enjoy this video. It does mean a lot to me. Hit the big red subscribe button as well. It really does mean a lot to me, and I want to start uploading a bit more. I'm gonna upload a video soon where I explain why I've been taking these where I haven't actually been uploading as frequently, even though I said I would be uploading in the new year, and we're now in March. So I hope you all enjoyed. Hit like, hit comment, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell to be notified when I get my latest videos. Please share this around on social media to any other Walking Dead lovers out there. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions, and I will see you guys very soon.